Hello and good evening. It is the AFL Armchair Advisors. We are coming to you from quarantine. We're locked down. We're in the hospital. We are being kept away from the rest of the general public for our own good as much as theirs. But we're still doing this round 12 show. It is round 12 of the AFL season of 2021. And what a ridiculous season it's looking like becoming. I am Rich, of course, of the Armchair Advisors. Joining me here and sharing a hospital bed together, it's the two of us. It's my man. He's normally described as sensible, but this week he's more best described as being sanitised. Mm-hmm. It is sanitised Dan. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. Well, much better now, I should say. And I do have to apologise to the both of you for putting you in this predicament. As you may have heard Richie just say, I do like to pride myself on my sensibility. But I came into contact with some unsavoury individuals who they were at the Port Adelaide versus Collingwood game.
Whoa. So you're saying there were unsavoury individuals at a Port Collingwood game? Well, you can draw your own conclusions on that one.
You know, who'd have thunk it? But I came into contact with them and thus we had to head into quarantine. So I do apologise, gentlemen.
Look, it's better to be safe than sorry. And a man who has never lived by that code in his entire life is, of course, our global field correspondent, Desmond Van Bus. How are you, mate?
And that is why the masks are coming off, because I live dangerously.
We can't.
I was tricked, though.
I
was tricked.
Hang on, before you go on, let's be real. If we've got it at this point, we've got it. You know what? Like, I'm getting rid of this. Getting rid of these ones. Getting rid of those ones. Oh, better. As you were, man. As you were.
These are staying on. I know where he's been.
Where's he been? Where have you been?
Just for the followers that have watched in a week by week, watch the program. I've been tricked by my fellow co-hosts. I was told I was going to prison. I was told I was going to jail. They said bring one item. So I brought my fly spray to protect me from COVID. Brought my fly spray. Well, I was given a glove because obviously you want to be sanitary. And in prison, I've not in prison, in the hospital that I thought was a prison. I've been given a nickname, the Examiner. For two reasons. I've been given the Examiner. For two reasons. Bang. I've been examinating. All of the prostates in the hospital because we're COVID free, baby. We're COVID free, and so everyone's prostate is clean.
COVIDs don't live in the prostate.
But I was tricked. I thought I was going to jail. They said bring one item. I thought I'll bring fly spray. It's almost like a pepper spray. If there's any silverfish in my cell, I'll be able to.
I've got two points to make here. First one, to anyone listening, Rich and I's prostates are firmly intact.
No man's land.
We've not been pilfered with.
No.
And Desmond also told me off air. I said, "Why have you got the fly spray?" And he said, "Well, silverfish and COVID are basically the same thing, aren't they? They're both bugs." And I said, "You are the biggest idiot I've ever met."
COVID, prostate, jail. Oh, it's been a tough week.
There's so much to unpack. I mean, we got told we're going into quarantine. And you thought that meant jail.
You told me we were going to jail. You said bring one item.
I said it would be like jail.
Yeah, and I brought one item. I brought my fly spray, multi-insect killer, because COVID is just a big insect.
I tell you, that's not going to get rid of chlamydia, mate. I can tell you that
inside the body.
Much.
Oh, nasty.
I tell you, you are an absolute deal. This is what we're stuck with for the next
wants
week.
To get it clean
for the next week. But please, what's going to help us all whilst we're during it and enduring at this difficult time? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Jump on the subscription. We've had a few shout outs. So actually, before we get into the shout outs, boys, it is round 12. We are going to be discussing the 6 games of the round. We're also going to be doing, I hope you've got a scramble for us.
Of course. And
we're going to be talking about, at the end of the show, who's going to win our flag, who's winning the Brownlow, the Coleman, the Rising Star, and the Wooden Spoon. So that's what we're going to be discussing in this show. I think it was by a special request, was it not?
It was, yeah, and that actually brings us to our first shout-out. So, big shout-out to loyal listener Scented Mandel. Sent us through a message on Instagram asking for our tips on all the futures bets. So, we're happy to oblige. We've always said it since day one. If you have any requests or anything, just DM us, because we'll put it straight into the show.
Love it. Shout out to a Scented Mandel as well. What a name.
It's good. It's very good.
Make me laugh.
Yeah, those fingers are a bit scented, and I'd
Scented Mandel. I think you've joined us.
Don't give it. Oh, now I'm not protected.
I don't care.
I want to use protection when I'm
Scented Mandel has joined us. Has joined the chat.
No, thanks to Scented Mandel. Also, another shout out to Daniel D, who was a regular follower of the YouTube show. And when he found out we were going into quarantine and still doing the show, he requested, could we give Desmond an enema live on air? I don't know if that's Probably not at the minute. I think he's covered in enough poo-poo fruit just
Well,
in and around the fingers, and I'm not interested in adding to it. I tell
On
you.
the topic of enemas, I never thought I'd ever say that. No, I've got a big call to make, right? We are looking to grow our YouTube fan base. As we mentioned before, like, comment, subscribe. Give us all the love because we love it and we will give it back. If we get 1,000 followers, subscribers
Subscribers,
baby. Subscribers on YouTube. YouTube subscribers, 1,000, 1,000, not 100, 1,000. I'm going to do...
real perilous. I thought he was going to go 1-0 either way then.
I was nervous. I had to think very hard in my head. I will do, and I am very sure I've done this. I'm not sure how far the world record is, but I'm going to break the world record. I'm going to break the world record for an enema long jump, and I'm going to do it live on the Armchair Advisors YouTube page. Only if we get 1,000 by grand final day.
I've never wanted to not see anything more, but also never been more interested to see something in my entire life.
I'll break the world record.
Well, admittedly, that is the only time I will be happy with this show being described as shit. Mm-hmm. That is it.
1,000 grand final day. I think it's September 28, 29. Whatever day it is, it doesn't matter. Day of grand final, we have 1,000. I will do a long jump enema break the Guinness World Record.
So like and subscribe, hit that button, fellas.
If you want to see it, let's do it,
fellas. Let's leap into this round's worth of games. 6 games. Game number 1 is at Giant Stadium in Western Sydney between the Melbourne Demons and the Brisbane Lions. Sanitary Dan, what do you reckon, mate? Who's winning here?
Well, I've got to give out a second shout out, or maybe a third shout out, then, realistically, to whoever's doing these AFL fixtures. Unreal. Last couple of weeks on Friday night footy.
Travis Auld is the
Travis
name.
Auld, yeah, legend.
Old Toldy.
Legend. Maybe the only one in AFL corporate who's pulling his weight,
Steady.
potentially. All right? Look, this is shaping up to be an absolute corker. D's are hot as hell right now. Beating the Dogs last week, massive. They've made me a D lever.
Oh.
That sounded terrible. I shouldn't have said that. I knew it was going to be bad coming out of my mouth.
D-lever.
Anyway, they're stacking up. I'm seriously believing that they can win a flag this year. I think they've got everything that it takes, all the necessary ingredients. But the Lions are also elite. They just dismembered GWS last week. First quarter, game was done. Already done and dusted. They'd already put it to bed. I don't think the Lions forwards in Danaher and Hipwood would match up particularly well with Lever and May. I think that's a pretty even contest. So it's going to have to be the Mosquito fleet for Brisbane to get the job done. I am tipping Melbourne here. 1-39, I think. Interesting.
Okay, what about you?
I think the little fella's going to blow it up. I think they're going to blow... Talking about blowing, Brisbane have been blowing out teams like 6-year-olds blow up birthday candles. Like, oh my God. They have been like... You watch Melbourne, they've just been not getting across the line, but they've just been winning comfortably. They've just been winning comfortably, comfortable wins, 20, like 4 to 6 goal wins. Brisbane have been blowing out teams. They've shown that they've got not only the killer instinct, but they have they're nasty. They get that mean streak about them, which is what I like to see, and that's going to be enough for me, especially moving from Western Australia. I'm having a Mason Cock moment here. Moving from the Northern Territory to Sydney, I think it's a big one for them. I think it's very big. Don't have to travel as far. It's just a bit of a mental hurdle. They don't have to travel.
You talk about the mental hurdles. I'll be interested to see how the whole COVID situation, especially with an extended lockdown now announced in Victoria, how that's going to affect our Melbourne-based teams, in particular Melbourne. Now, look, last time Melbourne travelled was to Adelaide Oval, and they lost against the 15th ranked Adelaide Crows. Brisbane are not 15th. They're doing significantly better than. So I'll be very interested to see...
Crom.
Well, I'm very interested to see now where Melbourne's mental state is at. I think that Crows loss was the loss they had to have. They certainly backed up a hell of a performance against the Doggies last week. And look, I really want to tip them, but I've got... If this was in Melbourne, I'd say Brisbane... Sorry, apologies, I'll start that again. If this was in Melbourne, I would say Melbourne, 1-39. The further north it is, the more I like the Lions. And I'm with you on the Mosquito fleets. I think your Camerons, your Baileys, your Stinkfingers McCarthys, these are the blokes that are going to be the difference between Brisbane having too much firepower and then not getting over the line against the D. So I'm going Brisbane, 1-39 on that one. Now, gents, if you recall, last week, I did a little thing where I was like, oh, this team can win if they do this, and this team can win if they do that. Doing something a bit similar again this week. I'm thinking the Demons win if they dictate play all the way through.
Yep.
So what we saw with GWS last week is that the Lions just ran roughshod over the top of them, did what they wanted, controlled the play, controlled the speed, and it ended up being, like a 60-point blowout, something like that.
An easy win.
Easy. Whereas if the Demons this week don't let Melbourne get a run on, and I know that's easier said than done, but if they can maintain possession, dictate the terms of those forward entries and the speed that the game's played at, I think that's going to be enough to sort of strangle Brisbane there. Whereas for Brisbane, I think Brisbane win if they nullify Gawn. Mm-hmm. And again, that's easier said than done. Mm-hmm. But in those midfields, they're largely evened out. You've got two A-grade midfield units going smack bang at each other. The difference is McInerney is just a very large, very tall man, whereas Gawn is arguably probably the All-Australian ruckman right now. Mm-hmm. So
I don't even think it's arguable at this point in time. Now that Grundy's injured, I think that it's just about the biggest lock of all time.
And he's going to give those demons mids first look at the pill every single time. So you nullify Gawn, you're going to go a long way towards nullifying the D's. Anyone's got any bets?
Yeah, I've got a few things I don't mind the look of.
Go on then.
Jimmy Harms. So he's moved back into a bit of a tagging role the last couple of weeks.
Teethy.
Yeah,
Toothy Harms.
He is a bit toothy. He is a bit toothy. So, and he's also been getting involved in the goals. So I reckon he can either go a goal, anytime goal for James Harms, or 20 disposals. He's been pretty good, and he's getting pretty choppy on the tagging situation. So I reckon who do you think he's going to go to? I reckon he'll go to Club.
Good luck.
I think you'll go to Club.
That'd be a good battle to watch there, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
You reckon?
You got to go to Clark. You got to.
So.
Well, look,
Lions, but he had a quiet week last week for his standards.
And not only that, but I just damaging wise, Clark is a hell of a lot more damaging than Jared Lyons for mine. Jared Lyons, great player in his own right in the conversation for AA.
We always talk about
if you're going to tag someone, it's got to be Clark.
Got to be Clark this week, I think.
I'm going to go. I don't have a bet here, but I think Charlie Cameron's going to get very close to kicking a bag. Sir Doug Nicholls round 2. Is that what they call it? They just call it. I think
it's Sir Doug Nicholls round 2. Doug Nicholls harder. I think, and it's set in an airport.
Yeah, well, Charlie Cameron's going to be very hard, and he's going to kick. I think it'd be very interesting.
Better than Die Hard 2.
Look at your value from Charlie Cameron's kicking 3+ goals, 4+ goals, 5+ goals. Pick your poison, because I feel like he's going to kick a bag this week.
How many? Give me a number.
5.
5.
Bag. 5.
Dad, that's a big bag.
Daddy, no.
That's a big bag.
All right, I got a couple of little bets. Now, admittedly, I put all of these together yesterday, and there were no markets available yesterday. I have not gone back through and had a look. I've tried to been sleep off, just exit the reality of this, the depressing situation we find ourselves in. So I don't know what any of the value on these legs are doing. I've merely looked at the stats, looked at the form leading in, identified some legs that I'm going to be looking at. So if you're having a look at your betting apps, suss out some of these. If you like the value, go for it. If you don't, then knucking you. Let's have a look. So I'm liking Dev Robertson, 15 touches. I'm liking McCarthy and Zorko and Petraka, 1 goal apiece for those boys. Yep. And I'm liking Daniel Rich and Pennywise the Clown Oliver for 30. Sorry, Pennywise for 30 touches, Daniel Rich for 20.
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Charlie Cameron, just for your information, is paying $36 to kick 5 goals.
What's he paying to kick 3?
Well, yeah, go on. What's he paying to kick 3?
To kick 3 goals, he's looking at $4.50.
That's not bad.
That's
better value. 36. I mean, look, you can probably chuck a.
He's going to kick 4.
That's to kick 3.
Yeah.
What's he to kick 2? It'd be like $1.91 or something like that. It'd be a drop off.
Yeah.
He's going to kick a couple. He'll kick a couple.
Kick 2?
$2.
$2 for 2.
That's good. That might be
That's good value.
That's my lock of the week. Bang.
That's your double.
Lock of the week. Done.
Lock of the week. Charlie's kicking 2. He's going to do it.
That's not bad, though.
Because when they need people to stand up, I feel like he's one that likes to lift, or he likes to completely shart the bed. It's either 0 or 100. And in Sir Doug Nicholls' round, he's not going to do it.
He's revving
he's
the
in
bike.
Great form. He's in great form.
And again, like we said, he's going to have to do it if they're going to get up.
That's exactly right. And that's why they're going to get up.
Big time.
Old Charles.
Big time agree. Let's look at the first Saturday game now. It's the St Kilda Saints versus the Sydney Swans. And I believe it's now been rescheduled to up at the SCG. I believe.
That's tough.
Yep.
I believe.
Bit of a switcheroo.
Is that confirmed? Okay, there you go. Desi, who's winning this one?
Well, we had a look yesterday at this, and it wasn't a hard pick, but you look and go, Sydney young team, will they shart the bed eventually? Now at the SCG, no way. It's a home game that isn't a home game.
Yes,
St Kilda are not that great. They didn't play that well against North Melbourne last week. Like, they were underwhelming against North Melbourne. I feel like that's a fair point to put out there, and you want to look good against North Melbourne because obviously they're the...
But if you can't look good against them, who are you going to look good against?
That is exactly right.
I butchered that sentence, but you know what I mean.
I know what you meant. And Sydney... Actually,
that sentence came out about as good as St Kilda played.
Sydney almost did the same. Sydney almost did the exact same against Carlton. They played it for 3 quarters. They played average footy.
Yep.
Not average footy, but just slow.
They just played football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. They
Yeah.
just got through, and then the last quarter they really turned the Jets and showed that killer instinct, like we mentioned before, and they put Carlton to bed real quick in that second quarter. The fourth quarter, sorry, I looked it up and it was like within 5 minutes in the quarter, including stoppage time. Game over, bang! They already kicked like 2 goals. Thanks for coming, Carlton.
I mean, that's
Come at
what
me, Cribs.
that's what good teams do. They'll can look a bit
And then bang.
Yeah, a little bit ordinary at times, and then they just when the pressure's on, when it's time to turn it on,
That's why
they
they
get the job done.
They win. They know how to win, and they go out and do it. And that's what Sydney are going to do this week. Going to win 40 plus at the SCG.
40 plus at the SCG.
They're just going to have who's going to stop them? Like they're just going to run wild. Hulkamania's running wild, and this time he's in red and white.
I don't know about 40 plus. I'm
40 plus.
I'm full agreement with you. I've got
Big
Swans. I've got Swans all day, but probably more 1 to 39. I'm thinking, because I don't know if. They're a good team. I just don't know if the Swans have that killer instinct to do what teams like the Dogs and the Demons do and put teams to bed.
Put them to sleep, yeah.
But they're going to win here. No questions asked. I'm just right off Brett Ratton at the moment. I'm going to start calling him the eunuch, I reckon.
Oh, come on, Duck.
No balls.
Come on.
No balls, mate. Last week, he come out, we're going to make some wholesale changes. And who did he drop? Do you guys know?
Will I know them? Will I know who they are?
No, you absolutely won't.
Loney?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know Loney.
Yep, Jack Loney and Jack Bytel.
I don't know that
Two
guy.
players
Who else?
I know Jimmy Bartel.
The other three
Are they related?
omissions were not omissions.
You're still talking.
Yeah.
What are you doing, you methhead?
The other three omissions were not omissions. They were injuries or managed.
Oh, yeah.
That old chestnut. You can't just drop 2 players who are on the fringe and then say that's wholesale changes. Brad Hill has to go back to the 2s. Absolutely has to go back to the 2s. 6 touches. That's woeful.
It's junk.
That's disgusting.
I agree. He's not going this week, though. I agree he's got to go, but there's no way he's going this week.
I don't care what
He's
round
just
it is, mate.
like I don't want to be like throwing shade, but I'm going to throw some shade. I just feel like he's just useless to that St Kilda team. Completely useless. I just don't know him being in that team. They're not better.
Freo won that trade big time.
He doesn't seem to fit whatever they want to do
That's
with him.
what I mean.
Either they're wrong or he's wrong, and you can.
I think it's
make
a mixture of
arguments
both.
ways.
I think it's a
at this
mixture
point.
of both.
And the other one who I'd like to see get dropped, not because I don't like him, but just out of form, Max King.
Yeah.
2 goals in 4 games from your key forward.
No.
The In the Mix article that gets written by the AFL.com.au writers said that he's too important to drop to the team. What's important about 2 goals in 4 games? What's important about that? Hugo Ralphsmith got dropped. He's probably going to get dropped this week.
Probably.
And he kicked 2 goals on the weekend.
In one game. Thank you.
And he's got a sick name.
He does, and a sick mullet. But that's beside the point.
I disagree with you on that one.
I don't care what you think about mullets. You're wrong. You're just dead wrong. Right? But Max King's got to have a spell. You got to go down to the 2s, go and kick 15 goals, get your confidence back, come back up and start playing good footy again. Because leaving him in that team when he's struggling this bad, no good.
And he will go down, and in 3 rounds he'll kick 10, 15 goals. And he'll just run wild. He'll run wild like the Swans are going to run wild this game.
Absolutely.
I'm in big time agreement, fellas. As I always say on the show, how you finish one game is typically how you start the other game. Now, I've got some stats here for you after round 11. Now, we know the Saints beat North. That's fine. They won by 20 points in the end. But having said that, in that last quarter, St Kilda kicked 1 goal 2 to North Melbourne's 5 goals 1. That is not the way you want to finish off a game. That's not winning. That's just stopping the other team from winning.
That's so bad.
It's terrible. Now, on the other hand, the Swans in that last quarter against Carlton, Carlton kicked 1 goal 3 to the Swans 4 goals 4. Now, they came home with a wet sail. You know what that says to me? Mental strength. They wanted the win. They knew it was close at 3/4 time. They came out all guns blazing. They were determined to come away with nothing less than the win.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they got. I don't know if you saw that game, but Jim Brayshaw at the end of the game said that it was like a vintage Sydney Swans win to him. Classic Swans, grind down an opponent, somehow squeeze out more goals than what they do, and just grind them into the turf when you don't have
It was
possession.
nice to watch.
What
It was
good
really
teams
good
do.
to watch. And that's exactly
What good teams do.
So look,
exactly what's going to happen this week.
I'm in firm agreement. Sydney 1 to 39 for mine.
Bets.
Bets. Well, just prior to that, I think the Saints can win if they start gut running off of halfback, and we haven't seen much of that from them this whole year. So whoever's playing, if it's Brad Hill, if Hunter Clark's back from his injury, probably not, but we'll see how he goes. It's too important. Whoever's playing off that halfback flank, you've got to run your guts out. You've got to start generating that push off the halfback
I think the
flank.
same goes for literally everyone in that team.
Why not chuck Brad Crouch off the halfback flank? You know what I mean? Just
Anyone.
try something.
Try something different.
Just mix it around. Just try something.
It's not going to hurt.
Yeah, but the man's got a tank.
Yeah, no.
He can run. Why not? I reckon him and Billings off half-back flanks. You could do worse.
Start
you could do
chucking
worse.
magnets around.
And be accurate is the other one. If you get a shot in front of goal, convert that shit. Here's the averages for the year thus far. Swans are averaging 13 goals 10 per game. St Kilda averaging 9 goals 11. Now that sort of crap's not going to stand up come September.
Speaks volumes, doesn't
Sums
it?
up the whole year for both teams.
Sums up the whole year for both teams. Swans are going to win this one, though, if they maintain that pressure. They out-pressured Carlton, especially in that last quarter. If they just keep that up, pressure the ball carrier, and when you get it in your forward half, lock it in there. And Sydney's been good at doing that.
Absolutely.
If they continue to do it, they're going to win. Let's talk bets. I'm thinking Lloyd and Mills and Crouch, 25 touches apiece. And Lukey Dunstan for the Saints, 20 touches. He was back last week.
I like Dunstan.
He had a huge game.
It's amazing what players will do when they're spotting the teams under threat. If you're someone like Max King and you know that you're not getting dropped no matter what, what's the pressure to perform? But Luke Dunstan, he wanted in, and he wanted in bad, and it goes to show. The only one I'd really add to that, I'm a big fan of Buddy kicking a bag this week. I reckon he's going to go spazzer.
Having a bag or kicking a bag?
Well, look, maybe a bit of both, one after the other.
Potter can the last does.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. Look, I'd probably lean towards either 3 or 4. I reckon he'll...
Bags?
Yeah, 3 or 4 bags. Yeah. If he gets maxed up on Chip Frawley, mate.
They can't play Frawley.
If he gets matched up on Chip Frawley and Chip Frawley's back in this week,
They can't play Frawley.
can you imagine?
He may
I can.
Because
I don't think. I mean, look, we all don't think that Buddy's in the best form of his career.
No,
yeah, he's obviously on the wind down.
Yeah.
He will towel Chip Frawley.
God,
up.
yeah.
He will towel him up big time.
Because
If you see Chip Frawley's name on that team sheet, load up on Bud.
yeah, I'm gonna
Not bags, or maybe afterwards.
bags afterwards, bags during. Dead set. Look, Frawley been a servant over a long period of time, but right now he's looking like. You ever see that Family Guy episode where Herbert, the suggested paedophile, had a fight with that Nazi that lived down the road, Klaus Schlecknacht or whatever his name was, Hans Schlecknacht.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just two old blokes just
Yep.
each other. That's all Chip Frawley's got in the tank at the minute. That's all he's got in the tank.
Not Herbie.
I would agree.
Interesting stuff. All right, let's look at the third game of the round. It is the very controversial Adelaide Crows versus Collingwood Magpies bout at the Adelaide Oval. What do you got to say?
My favourite thing about this game is
Go on then.
we've been told not to touch the ball when we go to the game. If it comes in the crowd, let's not touch the ball.
Yeah, just duck out of the way.
That is so funny. That is... Oh, do you know, like... I've grown up watching wrestling. Press it.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
I will touch balls if I want to touch balls.
Actual.
And no health minister's going to stop
I've
me.
been touching balls all week. Bang.
What
With these
the-
ones.
You know what? Hold that shit out again. That is the fly spray. It's got to kill something. I'm
But
praying. It's disgusting.
You think
It's not
I think
for
of
me.
wrestling terms here. They are not going to get over by saying don't touch the balls. Why? Imagine someone actually gets COVID from touching the ball.
It'd be
How?
good.
That's...
I can't
Can
believe.
you sue
I
for
mean,
that?
are you
That's
nuts?
like,
Can you
that's like
sue for
suable. Like,
even
they're like idiots.
insane. I can't understand the outrage of the SA government letting Collingwood in. I mean, the AFL players would be some of the most heavily sanitised people in Australia. They
get
get
tested
Well, what about
once
last
a
week
day.
when they
Like,
played Geelong?
oh.
Has anyone come... Like, nothing's come of it.
No.
Like,
No.
And I'm not saying nothing will come of it, but, like, for them to publicly say that
No.
before the game, it's just... Why would you say that?
mean,
That's just going to
a
stress
A few
people
fans
out,
died
you
from
idiots.
a few fans died from meth addictions, but I don't think that goes towards the stats.
no, it
A
doesn't.
few fans
look,
died from
and look-
overdose on vitamin C as well, but, like...
Yeah, true.
No
and
one-
look, fans here,
ban the oranges.
I mean, we're not going to not touch the balls because SA is, we love touching balls. And also, like sacrificing children.
Oh.
Remember that the other week? Bus.
Yeah, he means the footage of the Port Adelaide fan holding the 3-year-old son up and the kid copping it in the
Boom.
absolute snout.
Back into the year.
Exactly. So if we want to headbutt them, we will. We will.
I tell you, I'm going to that game. You look to see me in the forward pocket because I'm in the forward pocket, well, one of the forward pockets. If a ball comes in, it'll be and then just pretending to die.
And then
That'd be
lick.
so
Yeah,
funny.
nah, just lick it. Give it a lick.
I will.
And then send it
Kiss
back.
it.
I'll lick it. Yeah. Rex Hunt
Did you
mode.
miss me?
And then
yeah,
throw her back.
that
Yibbity
motivation.
yibbiter.
In
Yeah.
all seriousness, now that it's at Adelaide Oval, I wasn't too sure. I was a bit nervous with the Crows because we are Crows boys. A bit nervous going to the SCG playing Collingwood because you just don't know. Like, Crows aren't a great side, but they're going to be...
Too good.
How do I put this?
Too good here.
They're not a great side, but they are considerably better than Collingwood. Bang. Crows, 1-39. It's going to be a good performance from the Crows. I think they've played some tough teams.
Yeah.
Like, the last 3 weeks have been tough. I know we beat Melbourne at home, which is a good sign. And
Huge.
Collingwood just have nothing for Adelaide. They
Yeah.
just honestly have nothing. If they can come and beat Adelaide in Adelaide, that's a big showing, and Bucks is going to be frothing at the bit at that. So
Yeah.
come at us. Come at us, Magpies.
I
us.
can't disagree with anything you said. I think Crows have shown a bit of life the last couple of weeks. They've looked like a different team. Collingwood losing Grundy, that's just
that's so
that's
bad.
soul
Death
crushing.
knell.
That's soul crushing.
That's your
for
death
them.
knell, man.
Losing Adams again,
Oh.
it just gets worse. Pendlebury's apparently playing with a bung thumb.
What do you mean bung?
It's no good. That's what Buck
What,
said.
broken or just no good?
Nah, it's just no
Don't
good.
understand.
I don't know what that means. I don't know whether that's just a cover for poor form or but either way, the Pies are just in all sorts. It's an absolute schmozzle down at the Holden Centre.
The worst place they could honestly go is either to Perth and play any of the Victorian, any of the Western Australian teams, or come to us and play like one of our South Australian teams.
The worst
Like,
thing Collingwood can do is play
horrible.
football on the weekends because
Horrible.
it's not good.
It's very rare that you see any sort of club, organisation, anything, just everything go wrong. Like everything,
Yeah.
every facet of the organisation going wrong.
You shut up.
It sounds like that's exactly what Collingwood's board is saying at the minute. I didn't get that. Can you try again?
Yeah,
The
actually.
only one who's having any sort of success right now is Buckley because his new missus is fine.
Oh yeah,
She is mint condition. Everything else is a shite show there.
ain't your boy.
No Grundy, no Adams, no Collingwood for mine. It's as simple as that. Crows had 2 good quarters at home. At home. Crows had 2 good quarters on the road
Against the reigning premiers.
against the reigning premiers. Okay, I don't even think Collingwood's going to put up that, to be honest with you. So I think it's the Crows 1-39. Crows will win this if they maintain their structure, maintain that discipline.
I think they will too, because they know they want to win, and they know that's gonna get them the win.
Well, Richmond started spreading them in that middle part of that game on the weekend. Richmond started spreading them. Crows lost all shape through the centre, and you saw that. There was no linking play, and Nixie wants to really build some sort of an empire based on that hard-running, looping, forward at all costs, direct movement, and Richmond pulled that apart like pita bread. It was terrible to see. So if the Crows can maintain that, and make sure you run hard both ways. If the head gets down, the oppo gets a run on a 3 or 4 goals. Don't... No. Pull your, but tuck your wand back into your shorts and keep going at it.
Sheesh.
You heard it here first. Whereas the Pies win if they do 2 things. I think shut down Tex, who is absolutely the Crows' most important player right now, bar none, and tag Sloan, who is absolutely the Crows' second most important player right now, bar none.
Who do you tag him with though?
Wow.
At the moment, it's just Sire maybe.
Yeah, well, he's not doing anything else.
Sloaney runs too hard though. I think it's gonna be tough to tag him.
It will be,
And
but
he's gonna be
he's
hungry too.
shown that he's susceptible to a tag in the past.
I agree, but you're going to give him a sniff at home against a Collingwood side that aren't great. They know that too. Like I reckon Sloaney's going to be.
Poke him in the eye.
He's going to put it on the table here.
Poke
Put it
him
on
in-
the table.
poke him
bang,
in the eye.
Flop it straight.
Realistically, the only thing from here, just to finish off the conversation, Collingwood just need to play kids. It's a lost season anyway. I know Bucks doesn't want to throw in the towel because his job's on the line, but start playing your Finley McRae's and Jay Rantow's and, obviously your Bianco who was in last week. Just play him. It's not going to get any worse. It just can't. Can't get any worse.
No, look, get the kids some exposure. Look, in terms of bets-wise, as I said, don't know what any of these are paying. I formulated all of these before the markets were released, so feel free to have a look through, and if you like the value, then jump on it. But I'm thinking Keys and Sloan and Laird and Crisp and Sidey, all for 25 touches each.
25.
20. That's the 25 club. That's the 25 club. And I'm also liking Caleb Poulter for 15 touches. He's been great for the Pies in his first couple of games. And a little bird tells me that Jackson Haitley is going to come back in for the Crows this week in exchange for Sam Berry. If he gets a chance, he's not going to want to let that one drop. So I think Jacko for 15.
Love that.
Liking that a lot.
Go Jacko.
We'd love that. And this game actually contains my lock of the week. I'm locking up Crows at the line, which is currently set at 13.5.
Oh, beautiful.
That's tasty.
That's a bit.
Pies without Adams and Grundy, 13.5, and Crows at home.
Could do that by half time.
Oh boy.
Could do that by half time. All right, let's. No, that's with 3 games in.
We are.
It's the halfway point.
And that's a horrible feeling. Sinking feeling in the pit of my
As
guts.
Gregory Helm says, it's time. It's time. 2006 Gregory Helm, after he turned heel from being the Hurricane. It's scramble time, baby. Scramble time. All right. Who would like the first question?
You just
All
dole
right,
it out,
Dan.
mate.
On this topic of WWE, which WWE wrestler is Hugh McCluggage?
Which WWE wrestler is he?
Current.
Silky, yet slightly inefficient. Bad shot for goal. That's a real tough one.
It actually smells worse than you in here. I'm getting rid of that.
That's a real tough one.
A Miz.
Nah, because he's not got a big mouth.
Do I?
Nah, he's not a Miz. I reckon I'd go Sheamus. I'll peg him as a big, strong man.
Seamus. All right.
I like it.
I like that. I like it too. You'd like Seamus, Rich. All right.
You would.
Which Hawthorn player would be nicknamed the Pink Panther?
The Pink Panther.
The pink or peg?
Pink.
You see the pink. The Pink Panther. Look, Tim O'Brien. Tim O'Brien has got the pale. He's got the pale skin. He's got the orange hair. I reckon he gets a little smack on the bottom from the missus if there is one. And I think his panther would be looking pink. Go on.
All right. Who would win a running race? A kangaroo carrying Heath Shaw, or Heath Shaw carrying a kangaroo?
Easily a kangaroo carrying Heath Shaw.
Well, I like you said a running race.
Is it going to be too heavy?
How many kangaroos do you see run?
Okay, well, if
It's just in a.
yeah, if it's a pure running
Do you reckon?
race,
Do you reckon?
the
I reckon
kangaroo.
the kangaroo carry Heath Shaw.
Like
on his back.
They're significantly. They're a full-grown male kangaroo.
I'm
They're
not dissing
strong
on the
creatures.
kangaroo species here. I understand how strong they are, but like,
Do you know how heavy they are?
an 80-kilo man on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas Heath Shaw carrying a 110-kilo kangaroo.
With his bow legs and out of shape at the moment, I assume as well.
All right, Richie. Which player starting with A would be good at the tango?
Starting with A.
Has A in first or last name?
I reckon Aaron Hall.
Yeah,
I reckon Aaron Hall. He's got quick little feet coming out of that back line these days.
Yeah, twinkle toes. That's a good call.
Talking
Yeah,
about
love it.
twinkle toes, tickle culture is back. And have you heard
No,
any
it's not.
rumours on
Yeah.
tickle culture in Sydney and why has it travelled there?
Have you noticed the correlation between Mabby or Chol playing football games and questions about tickle culture being present?
So tickle culture is not back. I'm going to preface that.
Why has
But
it travelled to Sydney?
Why has it travelled to Sydney?
Don't look at me. I'm not helping.
Oh, dear me. Well, actually, no. You know what? That's where the Pride game is this weekend.
Come on, son. You can't be dishing that up down.
If Des asks questions, I've got to answer.
Jeez.
All right.
Jeepers.
On a lighter note,
Jack
and this
Sinclair
is
playing that
final
game?
question. Oh, all
Come on there, Rich. You can't be doing that.
right, Rich. This one is I've heard you've looked into dentistry this week.
You can't
All right.
even say it without laughing. You go on then.
All right, which player always seems to have really sore teeth, and which player has really big teeth, and who would win in a tug of war?
A tug of war with the teeth or with the hands? How do you mean?
Teeth now.
With the teeth.
With their teeth.
Who's got sore teeth?
I didn't even think of that until you said it.
because Sam Murray's not playing anymore.
All right.
The big teeth is Harms.
Yeah.
The big teeth is Harms.
Where you going?
The sore teeth. Who's got sore teeth?
Because I have
Marlon
very
Pickett.
sore teeth.
You reckon? Oh, yeah. You
Marlon
would.
Pickett's
Yeah.
got the sore teeth.
He grinds them.
Who wins?
Do you mean
Damn.
sore as in owl they hurt or
Yeah,
sore? Yeah.
owl.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
grinds them things
He
down.
crunches them. He got them P Diddy teeth, man.
And who wins in a tug of war? You'd have to. It's an easy answer.
I think Pickett.
I think Pickett.
His teeth are sore and they're about 1 millimetre long.
Yeah, 'cause it's because-
James Harms looks like they're made. They're carved from stone.
No, I'm
It's
going.
not spirit.
I'm going Pickett because think about it. Like they've got so little to move in the gum that they're not going to shift. Whereas this is the length of James Harms's teeth.
Yeah.
This fly spray can. They're gonna like any bit of force, and they're just going to pull out of the root, man.
I've got to disagree here.
No,
I'm not going to sit here and have an argument for an hour on teeth, but James Harms is not losing a tooth
I would
battle.
love to see this.
Harmsy. All
Thank
right.
you, boys.
Saturday night game. It's the Dreamtime game, and it's being played at Optus Stadium this week. Deary me. It is, of course, the Essendon Bombers versus the Richmond Tigers. Now, fellas, I'm going to summarise this one for you. Bombers were massive in the West. Okay, Bombers went over there. A Victorian team went to Perth, which has always been a difficult hunting ground. Played West Coast, arguably the better of the two West Australian teams. Bombers beat them. The Bombers have been there all week now. In fact, when this game gets played, they'll have been there for about 8, 9, maybe even 10 days at this point. They're settled in, all right? They're bunkered in. They are going to rate themselves because they're thinking we can beat West Coast on their home deck. What's Richmond, who don't like to travel and who got significantly pushed by a 15th ranked Crows team for 2 quarters, what are they going to do over here? A Richmond team, may I add, that is also now missing Nankervis, who's done his PCL. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? I genuinely think Essendon is going to come in with such belief, and Tigers with a few outs, especially Cochin out now as well. And unfortunate to hear that
He's not out just yet.
he's not playing this one. I'm telling you that now. So if Cochin's out, you
No,
lose
we'll
your
see about
captain.
that.
You lose your captain. You lose your number 1 ruckman against the side that's just beat West Coast on their home deck. No, I can't go past the Dons for mine. It's the Dons. 1
I
to
just
39.
can't get around the Donnies here. They're just serial underperformers, and they're playing great footy right now. Anthony McDonald, William Watson, Tip and Woody, unreal. Best small forward in the league. We all agree.
Hey,
on
it
that.
has to be.
Unreal.
Hey,
He's
small
playing
forward.
unreal footy. They're all playing good footy. all the young fellas are lifting, but similar to Carlton, similar to Essendon, these teams that are mediocre all the time, there's always a week.
Yep.
And this is the week. It's going to be too big for them. The young fellas have been away from home, away from family, away from whoever is in Victoria. It's a long time for the young fellas.
Yep.
Like they haven't been used to it. They played really good against West Coast. I can't take it away from them, but I think Richmond are going to win a close one here. Similar to the Giants game, I think they're just going to come home late, come home strong, too classy. And Mabior Chol, Chol's back.
Yep.
Chol's my favourite player in the AFL.
He was back big time.
Chol is my favourite player in the
Back
AFL
big
by
time.
far. I'm so happy to see him back.
He'd be cheering about being back because the more games he now gets in the second half of the season means the more the asking price goes up for when he inevitably goes to Gold Coast. He's from Brisbane. He's a Brisbane boy. He's going to Gold Coast.
Well, the asking price is going to go up for him and Coleman Jones because Coleman Jones looked real good against us.
He was very, very good.
And I feel like he could be a very, very dangerous player in the years to come.
Agreed. Just stay away from the Savlakis.
Yeah, look, if you can, but they're pretty.
I didn't
they're
know
pretty
that
tasty.
was him until
Get off the
this
Euros.
week, and that's awesome.
That's
Get
the
off
only
the
thing that
Euros.
I have loved about this whole. Oh, he's been starved of opportunity. Well, I mean, he kind of starved himself. Mm-hmm. Not at the time.
He was full.
Full-bellied boy. But yeah. Look, I would love to get behind the Donnies here because they've been playing real good footy, like you said, Des. But you just got to go with the Tigers. They're the experienced team, and as you rightly said, you just feel like the Dons are just a week away from capitulating because that's just what they do.
Interesting.
That's just what they've done for years, and it's real hard to break that mindset. They're playing, like I said, they're playing great footy. The kids look really good. I'm really liking guys like Harry Jones, who you sort of expect to be, neither here nor there. He's playing really good on late notice last week as well. Didn't have much time to prepare, and he was out ready. And Nick Cox, he's going to be a star. He's going to be an absolute star. And I know the commentary team ride him a lot, but it's hard not to because he looks great.
He draws the eye.
Unicorn.
Perfect.
A unicorn, mate. It's unreal. So I'm going to be tipping Tigers 1-39, but
interesting.
But I'm looking forward to this game.
It's my highlight of the week.
I'm genuinely looking forward to this one. We are at loggerheads over this. I'm just, look, and don't get me wrong, I hummed and hard over this. I really, truly did. And I just think Richmond trying to balance a bit of the old and the young at the minute. More travel. There's a bit going on in the background. I don't know. I don't think it's ideal coming in. Actually, speaking of Callum Coleman Jones and speaking of balancing the old and the young, a little return to Kane's world. Kane Corns during the week said that Richmond should be sitting down, having a hard chat with Rewalt and saying, listen, mate, you won 3 flags. You're 33 right now. So long. Thanks very much. We want to prioritise Callum Coleman Jones.
What does the comment section think of that? I genuinely
absolutely hated it. Hated it.
That's why I hate social media.
Disrespectful to Rewalt, all that sort of nonsense.
It's not.
I guarantee you.
I agree. Do we all agree here?
Yeah,
Do we agree it's good?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that's...
I don't think him bringing that up is stupid because, Kane's obviously been there. He would know better than anyone. And they're probably having those conversations already. If, they're probably already discussed when Jack thinks he's ready to pack it in and if he wants to go somewhere else. That at the end of the day, yes, it's a football family, but it's a business, Clarko pioneered the whole get rid of players 1 year early before 1 year early rather than 1 year too late.
I'm with you.
I'd be very surprised if they haven't already started that
it's great.
process.
I think it's good. I think it's a good conversation to have for everyone because Rewalt's going to get more money whether he re-signs or whatever. He's going to get more money if he wants to play on. He's going to go to a better side.
What would have been perfect realistically is if they'd got this Tasmania team up and running earlier because that would be
you go Wanganeen mode, go back to the power. It'd be the same sort of
be
deal.
the homecoming, be the captain for a year or two. Just similar to what, and obviously not exactly the same situation, but similar to what Chad Corns and Dean Brogan did at GWS. Just go there, hang out, play a bit of footy, and finish off your career.
Well, what's your option for all those people that don't think that's a good idea? What's your option here? Option 1. Callum Coleman Jones doesn't get a Guernsey. You prioritise Rewalt. Callum Coleman Jones comes to the end of his contract and he walks when someone else gives him a great contract and Richmond get nothing back. Option two, you trade out Rewalt now. You re-sign Callum Coleman Jones and say, listen, we're getting rid of Rewalt. You're the big boy. You're the big boy on the horseback. We're keeping you in here. You keep him at the club for the next decade, and you could get, what could you get for Rewalt? A second? Could you get a second for Rewalt? Triple premiership, proven key forward. What would Collingwood give up for Rewalt?
Oh, The moon right now.
Could you get a second?
The moon.
That's what I'm
get a
saying. Do you
second
know what I
from
mean?
Collingwood.
So, come on. Think with the head, not the heart, Tigers fans.
That's what I was thinking. Business brain. Big business brain time.
Well, that's why the advisors are undefeated.
Do you want 5 more flags or do you want 1 more year?
Well, do you want anywhere between 6 to 10 years of Coleman Jones, or do you want 1 year of Rewell?
He's got 1, maybe 2 in him. Maybe.
Like
But
there you
he's
go.
slow. Let's talk bets. I'm thinking Parrish 30 plus. I'm thinking Merritt 30 plus. I'm thinking Shai Bolton. He's back in the West where he's from. I think I like him for 20 plus touches and a goal.
Mm-hmm.
I like Harrison Jones, your man, for a goal. I like Mabior Chol, your man, for a goal.
Chol.
And I like Noah Bolter as well for 15 touches. He's broken that. Both. I think he had 17 last week, 18 the week before. I'm liking him for 15 off the halfback flank. I'm really sorry, boys. I just burped. It just tastes like curry. See if you can smell that. I'm sorry.
It smells
curry tonight
smells
as
better
well.
than those fingers,
That's
I'll
funny,
be honest.
eh?
Do you like the... I'm assuming you will, but the line is currently set at 10.5 for Essendon. You surely would like that. If you think they're going to win,
I think they're going to win, but
Richmond haven't
they're the
been blown
underdogs, though.
out.
I could see them winning this by like 5.
When they lose,
But
Richmond
they're
haven't
plus
been
10.5.
blown out. They've lost
Plus
they've been
10.5.
losing
Oh,
by
plus
like
10.5?
a bit.
I'll take that.
yeah, because the Tigers are favourites.
I'll take that.
I thought you would.
Sorry, plus 10. Well, there you go. Interesting.
All right.
Very interesting. All right, game 5. Game 5. It is at the MCG on your Sunday afternoon. It is the Carlton Blues versus the West Coast Eagles. You right over there, just flapping yourself?
I was just doing what Carlton and West Coast are doing.
What are they doing?
My heart left my body. Soulless.
Wow.
Oh,
Got
silence. Daddy, no. Right,
Got
why?
that.
Who's winning then?
Why? It's whoever wants it more. Which, if you ask both of them, they're going to say, "I don't know. Do you want it?
He's got such disdain for this
Do
game.
you
I
want
love
it? Do you want to win?
Do you?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't want to watch this game.
This game doesn't really do a lot for me, and I feel like, you know that Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other?
Yeah.
That's these two teams, and Captain Morgan will hate me saying that, but what's the difference between the two of them?
Yeah.
They're just nothing teams.
One's from Perth and one's from Melbourne, and because this is going to be played in Melbourne, I'm going to go Carlton 1-39. But like West Coast are a better team on paper. Are a much better team on paper when you look at it, but they're just not playing like it, and they just don't want it. They just don't want to win.
But even like
They could easily have
They look
beaten
mentally
Essendon.
tired, man.
the thing is though, Carlton's got a good team on paper as well. Like, yeah, if you sit down and look at their
Unreal.
team sheet, it's actually
I agree.
it's a good lineup. But neither team they just haven't got the ticker. These two teams will finish somewhere between 11th and 7th, and it'll just be another.
And
Meh.
West Coast
Another
will
also ran
hate
here.
travelling to Melbourne as well. They'll hate travelling with everything going on, as you would. Like, that's a fair...
No. I believe this is at the SCG. Let me just check
Is it
that.
SCG?
Please keep talking. We'll check that.
I mean, either way, I'm going to be.
I can
Tipping,
understand it
I'm
being
going to be
SCG.
tipping the Eagles.
Doesn't
'cause
matter anyway.
I just think they're slightly better.
SCG.
And I yeah, there you go. I do believe slightly more in the Eagles, but they're just
Carlton for me, 'cause
it's
I like
really
Carlton
hard
more,
to
so.
to sort of give many reasons as to why I think either of these two teams will get the job done.
Here's some
The only things
advice.
I will say, sorry to cut you off. Paddy Cripps looks like he's back to
Yeah.
his best. Looks to be moving a lot freer. He's borderline unstoppable against Sydney. Like he was just a one-man band. It was like watching Carlton from 3 years ago. Sam Walsh, what did he have? 33 touches.
They're 33, but they were
looks
just
a bit
forgettable.
quiet.
33 of the most forgettable touches you ever see.
Genuinely.
So it was like the Carlton of old. And the Eagles just don't have that killer edge that I think you want to see in a real premiership contender like your Dogs and your Demons. They just don't have it. And that's just how it is.
I'm going to be sensible here for once. So here's some advice, some betting advice from Des. I'll put them on.
Oh, he touched him with the fingers.
That's all right, mate. That's all right.
Yeah.
Those glasses have been
Here's
heavily
some
sanitized.
advice, okay?
Heavily
The advice
sanitized.
is do not bet on a team to win this game. Do not bet on a team to win this game. Carlton were going to be my Des Dog of the Week 2 weeks in a row, but we're here to make money. Why would you put your money in a place? Well, don't bet on West Coast for the rest of the year to win anything. Don't bet on Carlton. I'm not saying they're obviously not going to go winless for the rest of the year. Don't put your money in a place where if they don't want to win, why would you put
You see
your
what
money
those glasses do to people, mate? It just makes you instantly sensible.
They sensibilitize people.
I'm back, baby.
Look up what the draw's paying if you can, whilst I talk some rubbish about this game.
Surely
Look,
there is no market.
West Coast can't win at home.
Normally $51, I reckon, draw.
That's
$51 on the dot. How's
nicely done, Tessie.
I'm on it.
Now look, West Coast can't win at home. West Coast can't even win at home. What are they going to do at the SCG? Do you know what I'm saying?
Poo their pants.
Like, that's genuinely been my big motivating factor here. Also, big funny, the AFL asked Carlton, because it's their home game this week, they said, now Carlton, now Tiggy.
Since when does Mark Robinson run the AFL?
And if the AFL sounds like Mark Robinson, I'll do it right. Hang on. Now Tiggy, now Mark will do the same. Now, do you Carlton boys want to play the game over at Optus Stadium? Or do you want to play it at the SCG? And funnily enough, where did Carlton say, oh, gee, do we want to play West Coast in West Coast or in Sydney?
Whose home game is it?
It's Carlton's, and they're playing in the SCG.
If the shoe was on the other foot, it would be too bad. Go to the MCG.
Yeah.
Wait, like
Suck eggs.
Yeah, there's no arguments if it's a non.
I think that's fair though. Like, why do they? It's like St Kilda playing in the SCG. Like, I know you can't help this coronavirus pandemic and everything going on, especially like when it hits your state. But like, I feel like it's not fair for West Coast to get another game in. I know,
and that's why they're not.
That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't have been an option. It shouldn't have. It should have just been.
Fair, but it's just ridiculous.
It should have just been moved to the SCG. No,
no ifs, ands, or
do you
buts.
want to go play over in the West? Why would you even bother giving the option?
No.
Who's going to do that?
Stupid. Well, look, and Carlton, don't get me wrong, just because it's in the SCG doesn't mean that Carlton's going to win this one. Their last quarter fade out against the Swans was
ugly.
Disappointing. And that, to me, it would be more disappointing to be a Carlton fan to see that as opposed to a game in which they just get blown out from the get-go. Because they were in there up to their eyeballs and they just went limp.
Surely by this point in time, the Carlton fans are just numb. Like,
I was going to say,
you just be numb to it. Like, you rock up to the game just thinking, oh, well, we get a win, good, and if we don't...
It's the hope. I think they sold hope in the first three quarters and then they ripped it out from under.
Do you know what? There was big Carlton atmosphere at Metricon Stadium when I went to that Carlton Gold Coast game and they rolled them.
Yeah, because they thought they'd get a win, so they rocked up in numbers.
The Judas and the Carlton execs could sell ice to Eskimos. Like, if you're sitting there as a Carlton fan actually believing... Oh, this is our year.
No, they know we're coming.
Have a think.
No, they know we're coming.
Have a think about it.
That's the slogan. Kelly out is huge for the West Coast. That is huge.
Oh, Slim Jim.
And that really swings the midfield battle towards the Blues here. That really gives them ascendancy in the midfield going through.
To be honest, I'm going to be honest. I'm dead set with you. I think they had the ascendancy anyway. I don't think the West Coast midfield...
No, I know, but it really underscores it. Like, Kelly, because he's arguably been their most consistent midfielder this year. Them playing Yo last week just smacked of desperation. He's clearly underdone. He didn't play the entirety of the game. Neither did Nat Nui. There's blokes that are underdone. I don't like it at all. I'm tipping Carlton 1-39 here. Look, Blues can win if they just start doing the team things. Because I feel like this is still a selfish team. That there's a lot of stat patterns in that side. You shouldn't be seeing 2 or 3 blokes getting 30 touches each week and then the next bloke on the list getting 18. Do you know what I mean? Like, that says to me, I've got my snout in the trough.
And then losing by 30 points.
Exactly. And they've got the snout in the trough. You know, you got your one key forward who's jagging 5-6 goals a week and then the next best scorer is maybe like 2 goals, 1 goal, 2. I don't like that. Tommy Hawkins, what's he been doing? Sharing it around, sharing the love.
You could look at that one of 2 ways though. Like, you could look at it like they've got their snout in their trough and they just want to be fat scoffing dogs, or they have no trust in their teammates to do the right thing when they put the ball in their hands.
Column A, column B.
Like, you know, in that team, as far as like disposal efficiency would go, who would you even trust? Doherty?
Walsh,
maybe. He can be pretty ordinary at times. Zach Williams is reasonably clean with the footy.
Wiedering, maybe.
That's it.
Yeah.
Zach Williams hasn't been clean with the footy at all, though.
You would rather, if you're coming out of the centre, you'd rather bomb it long to Harry Mackay than chip it out to, say, Jack Nunes or whatever other shit kickers bloody roaming around the half-forward line. That's just my view on it anyway.
I think column A, column B on that one. Look, but if the Blues start doing the team thing, start playing for your mates, start running hard both ways instead of just being, downhill skiers when the ball's going forward and then when you don't have possession.
Yep.
You might actually get a win on the board for once. Whereas for the West Coast, I think, I want to see Witherden. If they get a win here, I'd like to see it coming from Witherden and Jeddah off the half-back.
I'm reasonably certain that Neville Jeddah got delisted at the end of last season for starters.
Okay, good.
And also...
they still got...
No, they don't.
Who do they have playing for them then?
Josh Rotham,
in their back,
Tom Cole.
Off half-back?
Yeah.
Have a look at this. What's Barras doing?
Not much. Witherden's out with a groin injury for another month as well, they reckon. So, yeah, look, I know what you're going to say.
Go on then.
And say get a bit more run off the halfback.
They need it.
I know they do, but...
And they've got the players to do that.
I'm aware, but...
Jeez, I'm looking at this back line. It's all just old men and no-namers.
It is.
Hearn, Shepherd. Oh, jeepers. I don't know. Well, I'd like to see a bit more run off the halfback.
If any of them could run, then yeah.
That's looking
maybe Brad Shepherd could just strap up his ankles away, Jared, and go for a bit of a trot down the wing.
Jeepers.
That might help, mate.
Help the boys out there. Now, look, why not play some kids? Make some hard calls, drop some established names, play some kids, and make blokes actually be hungry to play in that West Coast team again. Because at the minute, there's a lot of reputations rocking up week in, week out. Talk to me about some bets. I think this is quite a simple one for mine. I'm looking at Sheed 30 plus. No Kelly means he's the man in charge. Gaff 30 plus. Remember Gaff? He plays football.
He does, yeah.
Sam Walsh 30 plus, and Eddie Betts a goal in the first half. That was paying $1.91 last week. He did it last week. He did it the week before. Pretty sure he did it the week before that. $1.91. Boom.
Yep, perfect. I'm just having a quick look through the markets here. I like Nick Newman for 20 plus disposals. He has gone 20, 21 and 18 against Sydney. I think he'll back that up and go 20 again. Now that Doherty's moved out to the wing, Nick Newman's taken all the kick-ins, and just like everyone, he loves a cheapie. And
hello, Newman.
Yeah, exactly. So
Don't mind that.
I'd be jumping on that one.
Don't mind that at all. Do you have anything? You're a blank. You are a blank.
This is on you for asking him, because you know he doesn't.
No, it's a nice easy layup. It's a nice easy layup for me, because then I get to laugh about it. All right, sorry, mate. Last game of the round is at Optus Stadium, and it is between the Fremantle Dockers and the Western Bulldogs. And I get the feeling we can knock this one over in short order. Sensible, sanitised, sanitary Dan. What do you like here, mate?
I like the Dogs a lot in this game.
Do you now?
Yeah, I really do. And I think that's going to be a pretty popular opinion. I think we may even have a consensus in this one.
Yeah, this is my shoe-in of the week, but I'm wearing those hospital booties at the minute. And,
not allowed to take them off.
I can't take them off.
No booties.
Yeah, look,
no booties.
The Dockers just looked real ordinary against Port, and you never really thought they were going to win. They showed a couple of bits of
a little bit of comeback in there.
Too late in the day.
A little bit of life, but I mean, I think Port were just sort of at that point just keeping them at arm's length and just doing what they had to do. Caleb Sarong is having an absolute nightmare this season.
Annus horribilis is what he's having.
He is. It's disgusting. Rising star last year, and this year he couldn't get a kick in a street fight.
I haven't heard anything from. What do we call him? LDS, Long Dong Sarong.
Long Dong Sarong.
LDS. And that nickname has been taken off him, revoked for the time being.
I reckon it's SDS.
And until we see signs of that pipe again, I refuse to use it.
It's Baby Dong Sarong until further notice.
BDS.
Well, it's still BDS then, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Same nickname. But anyway, look, the Dogs got the loss that they needed. I think.
Agreed.
I think that's a bit of an overused sort of analogy, but
holds true, though.
It does hold true, and I think you just need a bit of a wake-up call sometimes when you start drinking your own bathwater.
You definitely do when you've got players of the calibre of Western Bulldogs. I mean, the midfield's just...
And the tipping competitions I'm in, you go have a look at what people tipped last week. Virtually no one was on the Ds. Everyone was riding the Dogs last week, and I think that just sort of seeps into the players a little bit. Oh yeah, we'll get the job done here. Well, cop that on the chin, you move on and pulverise Fremantle.
It's a soft oppo here. Look, interestingly,
soft oppo.
It is a soft oppo. It genuinely is. I'm just wondering though, Treloar being out, I genuinely wonder how big that is for them, because they looked almost a different side last week. And again, I agree with what you're saying. But that entire team, that whole Dogs outfit last week, they looked like they lacked spark. They looked like they lacked confidence at the level. They were panicking with the ball. Their disposal efficiency was crap. But it was players who typically have a great disposal efficiency who were just butchering it.
Yeah.
Like Caleb Daniel was shanking the hell out of him. It was disgusting.
That early on in the game, Jack McRae kick across goal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so unlike the Dogs to be doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Unusual choices.
Yeah. Usually such good users of the ball, and I think that will continue this week. They'll bounce back.
I agree on that. Look, there's too few at Freo working at the minute. Chera was good, and he looks like a bloke who's all of a sudden woken up and realised, I'm in a contract season, actually,
Yeah.
Shit, I could be demanding a bit of money here. I better start playing a bit of footy,
all this talk of him going to Carlton as well. I mean, just what Carlton need, another player who plays when he feels like it.
G'day, Adam Chera. It's Carlton. Would you like to go full Titanic mode and just sink without a trace? We'll pay you a lot of money to do it.
Yes
very well. Yeah.
Yep.
The only thing for Freo here, I'm just gonna cut back into the footy thing, but you look at it and go,
go on.
Cut back into footy
if you got to. Yeah.
You look at it and go, literally the only thing going for Freo is that it's in Perth.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that's going for it.
Well, the Bombers
you
have shown
mentioned.
that Perth. Who cares about Perth anymore? You know what I'm saying?
And you're right. The Dogs love those big open spaces.
Oh.
Their movement off the ball, they'll just destroy Freo.
So
with
it's
it.
just tough. Like it's just, and I like Freo. They play crisp footy in moments, just
Yep.
not against the Dogs.
They're a workman team. I think Freo have a shot at winning this if they get first use of the ball. It's got to start in the middle and get to the outside, because the Dogs, the only thing, they've just got too many great inside mids, but unfortunately they've got too many great outside mids as well. So you've got to get first use of the pill out of the middle. And I genuinely think Sean Darcy is probably in your top 5 or so ruckman of the league at the minute. Will genuinely give him an option against, I'd back in Darcy against Sweet and or English. Get first use of the pill, flick it to the outside, and for God's sake, win some clearances. The Dockers lost the clearances
good
to
luck.
Port. Well, they lost the clearances to Port 4-15 in the first quarter last week.
It was already over I messaged you 5 minutes into
You
the
did.
game, and I was like, "This is over, done,
Yep,
done
it
and
was.
dusted." You could just tell that Freo weren't in it.
Unfortunately, though, that clearance game, that's the strength of the Dogs, so I just don't see Freo getting it done. I did tip Western Bulldogs 1-39, as I said. Dogs, all you have to do is just follow the formula. If they follow the formula that they've been working off of for the first 2 months of this year, that for some reason just decided to stop working against the D's. Follow that formula. You run and gun, move it on at all costs. Look, you'll get that win, and play tall in the forward line as well. Freo, I think, are being they're going to have to start targeting a big key defender, I think, in the off season, because they just look so short against Dixon and Georgiades and Marshall. They just look tiny.
Yeah.
And if the Dogs play forward, like Tim English, stay at home forward. I think he has a bag.
Yep, he probably will. I mean, he actually looks like a really good forward. He looks like a much better forward than he ever did as a ruckman.
I agree on
that. Him and you'd expect from probably next year forwards, him and Jordan Sweet will make a pretty good 1-2 punch.
I like
I
Geordie
reckon.
Sweet.
Like
He's
that a
good.
lot.
Ex-Rooster.
Yep.
Yeah, it is too. Let's talk a few bets. I'm liking, considering who's playing in this game, I do not think you can go past Jack McRae, most disposals, Group 1, across the board. And that'll be paying like $2.50.
It's absolutely stupid. I mean, is he going to go the full season having 30 in every game? I reckon he could
You've
genuinely...
said it now. I'm knocking on wood. You've said it now.
Oh, I'll knock on wood too. I reckon he could genuinely go close. It's just ridiculous. I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. Having 30 possessions used to be a
Feet.
big game.
Yeah.
Not really now. Like guys like Jack McRae and Tom Mitchell, they just do it for fun.
Every time.
Just
Oh,
do
of
it. They
course.
just do it for fun. I mean, even the other day, Tom Mitchell had 22 disposals, and everyone was like, "Oh, a bit ordinary." 22 disposals. Some players would kill.
Yeah.
Brad Hill would kill for 22 disposals.
Brad Hill hasn't had 22 disposals all year.
I don't think
combined.
I was going to say, if you add up all the disposals Brad Hill's had for the year, wouldn't hit 22.
Maybe
But
even
no.
last year in there too. He'd maybe hit 23.
So McRae, Group 1 most disposals. I also think, look, have that separately, do you know what I mean? Because that's $2.50. I assume it's probably going to be $2.50. You can have a look if you want.
Yep.
Is it?
No, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I know. Jack McRae, 30-plus disposals. Bailey Dale, 25 disposals. Brayshaw for Freo, 25 disposals. And for your goals, I'm liking English and Waitman and Nat Fyfe anytime goals. So you put them together, and I bet you that's paying a pretty little penny.
There's no market for that at the moment, but
boo.
I'll take your word for it.
Boo earns. It should be. It'd be somewhere around 250. Yeah. Boys, that's the end of the round. 6 games done and dusted.
You know what that's time for?
No, well, it is, yeah. So it's time we discussed some futures bets. So we're going to have a look at the Coleman, the Rising Star, who's winning the flag, who's winning your Brownlow, and who's winning your Spoon. Who's kicking this one off?
I reckon we start with the wooden spoon. I reckon we get that one done and dusted. I've got North Melbourne. Everyone's got North Melbourne. Don't at me.
It's North.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, they're only paying like $1.33 at the moment, so they're about.
That's value.
Well, I mean,
It's not.
Value, baby.
My value pick, and I wouldn't be putting a lot of money on it, but Collingwood is currently paying $15 to finish rock bottom of the table.
That's interesting.
Now, you would assume they're probably going to lose a couple of their next games with Grundy and Adams out. If this form continues on for the rest of the year and North do a little bit of a Crows-esque manoeuvre from the end of last season and strike up a few wins in the last few games, Collingwood could be on.
What's the Pies playing? What are the Pies paying to finish bottom?
$15.
$15. So let's have a look
So
forward.
it goes North at about $1.33.
Yeah.
Hawthorn at
Second.
about, I want to say $3. I reckon it's somewhere in that vicinity. Then Pies a third favourite at $15.
Right, so
No
from
one
round,
else will get it.
So from round 13 onwards, North play the Giants, and then the Demons play Collingwood. So I think it's probably 2 losses, but you'd back North to maybe get the win there. North play the Lions, so you can write that one off. Pies have got the bye.
Collingwood could still lose out at this rate, mate.
Could do. Then it's Freo versus the Pies. And it is North versus the Suns, and that's in Melbourne. That's interesting. That's interesting. And then from then on out, it's pretty much just bedlam for both teams. So I genuinely think whoever gets the next win, they probably hold position.
I said $15 is good odds. That's just what I was thinking when I had to look through
It's
the
not bad,
markets.
though.
You know, considering who they've had out in the last couple of weeks, it's
You could do
If
worse.
you can cash out of that, then it's definitely worth a look.
Go to the other end of the spectrum. Who's winning the flag?
Right, I said at the start of the show that I'm tipping Melbourne to beat Brisbane because I think they're a better team at the moment. My pick is Brisbane to win the flag. I really like the way Brisbane's going about it at the moment, and I think they've worked out this nice little system without Lockie Neal. Him coming back in is only going to make the team better. You know, he'll slot in seamlessly, and they're paying $5.50 at the moment. So I think for me, anyway, that's where I'm going to be putting my money at this point in the year.
I've backed in the doggies. In the doggies straight after the loss to Melbourne because that's when Sportsbet love it. They lose a big game. Sportsbet bump the odds up, $5.50. I like the doggies because when they won in 2016, and that was 5 years ago now, which hurts me deeply because young Des remembers watching that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I still remember BT's call.
It was unreal. But that's fine. But like you watch the doggies, I feel like when they're in I know they're not the most experienced team in the finals, but when they're there, they want it, and I feel like they want it more than anyone.
Well, that's exactly why I'm going the Dogs. They've won a flag. Like, let's be real. Out of your other premiership fancies in Port and Brisbane and Melbourne,
They've shown.
Who's won a flag?
That they can
And
do
in
it.
recent history, in 16.
And it's got the relevant players.
I think they know what to do if they get there. So I can't go past the Dogs there.
That's actually quite a tough year to pick, though. I reckon
Yeah,
that, you there's probably 5 teams you can make real strong arguments for.
We've
And
got
as we
Melbourne.
saw, the year the Dogs won the
that finger
flag, the year the Dogs won the flag, they finished 7th.
8th.
So all it takes is one of those teams getting hot at the right time.
Which could I think that might be a Richmond because you think who have we got? We got Melbourne, we got Brisbane, the doggies obviously.
Yep. Port.
Geelong are up there in Port. Richmond might come strong. That's fucking 7 teams.
And that's 6 fingers, but there's always a dark horse as well. There's always a dark horse, someone that just leaps out of nowhere. But yeah, look, Dogs for mine. Let's have a look then. I think I want to go straight to the Coleman. My Coleman's tied very heavily to this. I think Josh Bruce. So a bit of an unusual one, but look, if that doggies midfield just keeps on delivering high quality balls inside forward 50, Bruce is going to get enough bites at the cherry, okay? He's going to get enough sniffs at it, and all he has to do is just be semi-accurate and for the Dogs to maintain consistency going forward, and he could snaffle himself a Coleman.
Yeah, another one of our loyal listeners, Matt Osgood, actually sent this through to us. This was his pick as well. They play North again.
On you, Matty.
And what happened last time Josh Bruce played North, mate?
Go, goals.
He kicked 10.
He's probably going to kick another 10.
I mean,
if
look,
not
you
close.
probably could either pick him or Norton because either both of them are going to be getting on the end of a few of them. Dogs are the highest scoring team in the competition, but yeah, Bruce is $17. That's very good value. Tex will not be in it come season's end because he's probably going to have another rest at some point, and
he won't do it.
You saw him drop off that form at the last couple of games when he was looking a bit
iffy,
ragged.
Yep.
And I actually have serious doubts over whether Harry Mackay is going to be able to finish out this season. His shoulder injury has given him a lot of grief. And 3 goals 5 last week. You just wonder how much it's sort of playing into him at the moment.
I've just got Harry Mackay. I don't like it from a value aspect. I just like $2.15. I wouldn't bet on it.
No.
But so when I look at it and I look at this, I look down at my notes, because I've actually done notes today.
Yeah, good man. There you go.
I see $2.15. Don't bet on it, but I just think he's kicking 3 goals 5. Who else are going to kick Carlton's? Who else is kicking Carlton's goals? No one. Like Eddie Betts. Eddie Betts is going to drop off soon.
You make sense.
He's going to drop off soon. I'm thinking about round 16, 17, Harry Mackay is just going to pick up the slack. And say he kicks 8 goals instead of 3 goals 5. Say he kicks 6 goals 2. Something like that, has those big games and that keeps accumulating. You know, and I feel like that's just what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Whether he's injured or not, he can have a game off and he can come back and kick. 6,
I mean, as I
7,
said, though,
he's
you keep seeing him getting these contests and immediately just grabbing the shoulder. I just don't like it. I don't like the look of it.
That's why I would never bet on it.
Worrying signs. No, worrying signs there. Let's look at your rising star. Now, boys, I'm all in on this one.
I know where you're going with this.
So let me fling it over to everyone else then. Let's fling it
I've
back
got
over.
Nick Cox at $5. I feel like that's good value.
Okay.
I saw it. I reckon we mentioned it. Was
Commentators
$8.
love him. The media
They
loves
do.
him.
And that's
Hasn't been nominated yet, though, has he?
he will though. He'll get a nomination. He hasn't been nominated. No, hasn't been nominated.
He's got to get one.
He'll get
has
one.
to get one.
And I feel like at $5, we said 2 weeks ago, we said $8 was good value. It's gone munched down to $5.
I reckon that's because of a lot of
past that.
that's a lot of AFL media dick suckery though.
It is.
That's not.
To me, I really rate Nick Cox. I said it in, I
He's good.
Can't
He's
stop
very
talking
good.
about him. But if he's not been nominated yet, for me, I'm not putting my money on you until I see that nom.
We'll get there. We'll get
Once he gets nominated, it'll be like $1.40.
And me and you, and me and you have the same.
Will we?
We do.
Interesting. All right.
We absolutely do.
So we're both going James Jordan
are going
from
James
Melbourne there. James Jordan, young midfielder there playing for the D's. Let's compare the pair. Who else is your genuine contestant for this? Chad Warner?
So I would put Chad Warner, and then you'd say Tom Green.
Who's the biggest? Well, Tom Green's probably leading the betting at the minute.
225 he's paying.
So you know what? Just in case
That's
you're
ridiculous.
like,
He shouldn't be.
Well, just in case you're there like, oh, Rich, as if we go James Jordan, what we're going to do? And
James Jordan, for mine, without looking at these statistics, and
I'm about to.
I don't know what you're going to pull up. I would say he's comfortably been the most consistent of the young brigade. He's been playing a pretty important role in a Melbourne side as well, who's currently top of the table.
The best.
It's not like he's been hanging on week to week. I think probably one time this year he's had a bad game. And that was maybe, I want to say like round 4 or 5. But he's been
Just to put
killing
it out there.
Absolutely killing
Just
it.
to put it out there, Ladbrokes gave me a $200, and feel free to give me more Ladbrokes if you want to make a Des code. They gave me a $200 deposit match. Put in 200, you get 200.
Yep.
I backed in the boys this much, so I've got a small amount of Ladbrokes bonus cash, because they don't call it bonus bets. I feel like it's a sports bet kind of. I feel like it's a sports bet kind of TM.
I'm with you.
Trademark thing. Bonus cash, James Jordan, get on it. $11.
Well, now I
Back
feel-
in the boys here. Well, I can't.
I'm a bit nervy about this one now because I've just thrown up the stats between James Jordan and Tom Green at the Giants, and Tom Green's pretty much leading every single stat compared to James Jordan. I'm genuinely surprised.
But what impact is he having on the games? I would argue that James Jordan has been more impactful for Melbourne
Well, look.
and playing in a better side.
Tom Green averaging 20.7 disposals a game versus Jordan's 16.5, but
Different roles.
James Jordan having 6.8 tackles per game against Tom Green's 2.8.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Uncontested possessions, Jordan's just in front.
I think
Intercept
he's a better
possessions, he's
player.
in front.
Tom Green's going to be a great player, no doubt. But I feel like watching week to week, James Jordan has been far more consistent.
Tom Green
has had those games where he's like spiked and looks like a genuine superstar, and then the game against Brisbane on the weekend, no show, didn't turn up. James Jordan every single week.
Consistency. That's with it. And that's what's caught my eye.
Yeah, and
that's
that's what I like.
Yeah.
So what does that leave then? We've talked Spoon, we've talked Flag, we've talked Rising Star, we've talked Coleman, so let's talk Brownlow.
The low. I'm going to jump out on this one.
The Richard Douglas medal, as I like to call it.
In perpetuity. Who's winning?
I've
Who's
got
taking on
Oliver.
Charlie?
I got Clayton Oliver.
Clary.
550. 550 for Claz.
Yep.
I don't hate McRae at $11, but just because he's got all those other midfielders to steal votes, it's tough. And I don't. You look at Bont as the favourite. I don't think Bont's going to get it. Purely because of that. Purely because McRae's going to steal votes off him.
Yep.
Going to be tic-tacking one another.
Treloar
And
have a few early.
you can say, I totally agree. He could win the first 2-3 games. I think Baz gets round 1 from memory. He had an unreal first.
Huge game against
But
Collingwood.
Treloar was 2, and then Treloar was the best player for the next couple of games. But you can also say the same for Oliver. But Oliver's just head and shoulders like lifted above the rest. And for the rest of the season, I feel like he's going to do the same. Petrarca's going to steal votes from him, but Oliver's going to get the number 2. Like you think with those Western Bulldogs players, like Baz gets 3. Who are we saying? Treloar gets 2.
You get a couple. Liberal will pinch a few.
You know what I
Liberal pinch a
mean?
few.
And then Bont misses out. So you look at it like Bont's going to miss out of games, whereas Clary's not. Gorn might steal a couple from him, but Clary's going to end up with the 2, with the 3.
That
Clary.
is the most coherent thing he said all evening.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to follow that up by saying, "Hey, Georgie, give me a Brownlow." Pennywise the Clown, Oliver for mine is coming home with the
I
Brownlow.
like that you said that. I like that.
That's fair. I mean, I've got a few different picks here, so I've written down Bont as my pick. Realistically, the commentary team loves him. The umpires will be looking for him. And I agree with what you're saying. People will take votes off him, but I think it'll be the 2s and the 1s, and Bont will be just stacking up 3s. So value though, I like Ollie Wines at $11 because no one's going to be taking points off him at Port. I wouldn't have thought.
Spot on.
Boak hasn't been that good this year. Obviously, you got no Rockcliffe in the side most weeks. Well, no weeks actually. So
Correct, yeah.
So no one's going to be taking points off him, and he plays in a good side, and he's been having a seriously good year to boot. It's not just because he's the only guy in the team. Like he's actually been playing really good footy. And the other one, bit curly, Darcy Parish.
Go on, then.
At $18. He's been massive for the Bombers since he's moved into the midfield. And it feels like he's only been playing in there for about 3 weeks. That game when he moved into the midfield was after the Port game. And that was in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's been elite since round 3.
Genuine Smokey, what's he paying?
$18. And I really like that. I'm not saying if Bombers make finals as well, if they actually push on and do what some of the analysts think, even including yourself, I think you think Bombers can make finals if they keep tracking the way they are. You probably say the same.
Out of that second tier of teams, I
can't disagree.
It's going to be on the back of guys like Merritt, Parrish, and even Kyle Langford, who's playing good footy at the moment. But Parrish has been better than both of them.
I agreed.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he stacks up a few votes. Maybe winning's probably pulling it a bit hard, but $18, that's good value.
He'll come in, cash out.
He could be a Pritis.
He'll come in and cash out.
It could be a Pritis, and that's all it takes, mate.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Boys, I'm loving that chat. And thanks to, what was that lad's name?
Scented Mandel.
Scented Mandel. Cheers to that. We've enjoyed the chat. I've enjoyed the chat.
The big M.
And I've enjoyed this round. Fellas, that concludes round 12. We will see you. God knows where we're going to be next week, I'll tell you what. But we will be hopefully out of jail. And we will be coming back to you for round 13 next week. Please like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe button/buttons. And remember,
1,000 I'll do. I'm going to break the long jump enema. 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Share it to your friends. One matters, because if we get 999, I'm not doing it. 999, I'm not doing it. 1,001, I'll do it.
Whatever
1,047, I'll do it.
I'm creating that many fake accounts and just doing it. I want to see this happen. This is happening.
We will see you next week. Take care, pundits. All the best.